good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is. This is the Emperor's Throne podcast where I bring in a guest or I go solo and we just talk about things that are on our hearts, on our minds as we go through this journey called life. We hope that we share something with you that you can think on each day or marinate on each day, or you learn something new coming here. Whatever you come here for, we hope you get a lot of it. So just stay tuned. I am sure that each and every guest will have something that you need. Thank you so much. Enjoy the show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Emperor's Throne podcast. This is Justin, the Emperor Davis, also known as Jay Davis, and I have a very special guest with me here. Pretty new friends. And he also wrestles at Campbellsville University. Like I mentioned, I go to Campbellsville University. Malik, pronounce your last name for everyone.
It's Sallah, S-A-L-L-A-H.
See,
Sallah.
And that's the reason why I asked, because it could be Sallah or Salah. It depends on people, how they pronounce it. For example, the fighter Israel Adesanya, not Adesanya, but we Americanize things. So I'm going to let Malik speak about what he has on his heart. It seems like he's got some pretty big things going for him going forward in his life. Again, when I bring guests on, this is just as much a show, if not more, than mine. So, Malik, take it away.
Well, first I'd like to go ahead and talk about who I am as a person. Like I said, my name is Malik Saleh. I am from Northern Virginia. I go to Campbellsville University, and how I go here, I wrestle for Campbellsville University, and that's pretty much the bigger portion of why I go here. But I feel like God led me to the aspect of coming here in the first place, because my friend back home, me and him have been teammates. His name is Tombola. We were teammates back in the day, and he pretty much told the coach about me, and the coach contacted me, and he put me on to going to Campbellsville University, and I got a lot of money to come here. But I love the aspect of being in Campbellsville University. Even though it is a smaller college, you get more helpful people, and you get to know the people that are around you, and they spread love, and they're just very enjoyable. But now to get to my actual topic. My topic I talked about people today is called, the caption for it is you just won the lottery. And if anybody in the world just won the lottery, how would you feel? How would you feel if you won the lottery? You'd probably feel ecstatic. All your worries are over. You'd quit your job. If you were in college, you'd drop out of college. If you type of aspect in life, you would just leave everything and just go ghost and go off the map and not talk to anybody. And that's what I want to spread the knowledge that I have today, and it's called You Just Won the Lottery, because people feel like as if they don't value their lives as much because they have hardships. Maybe they're in financial instability. Maybe they're in a hardship in their life where they just cannot get out of their, I guess, their bad moment that they're in their life, and growth is sometimes hard to see. But it's not about necessarily seeing it; it's about working through it to get the growth. Because to grow, you have to be buried like a seed in the dirt to grow up.
Wow! So I've never heard it put like that. Where's the origin of that, or is that a brainchild of yours?
It's definitely that origin for me. Like I've been homeless before for 3 or 4 months. I've been bullied. I've been mistreated, and through all the aspects that I've gone through, I've never given up. There's always been many options to quit, but I never chose one. And I realized that if you keep working hard, you'll get to more aspects in life that you never expected yourself to see yet. And by the age I was 13, I was already wrestling. Then I got my GPA in high school was a 2.1. I didn't even have the highest GPA. I was like, out of my class, it was like 250 people. I was probably like 190th, maybe 200, and I still got a full ride to college. Most kids didn't even leave my hometown. So it's about working through the trials and tribulations that you go through, and like growing through it as a person.
So let's dig a little deeper on that analogy, because you hit on something that I think people can really think and take away from this today. And it's only 3-4 minutes in, and you've already revealed something that will help somebody out down the line, whether you realize what you said or not. But the way you made the analogy of you've got to be buried. So I do believe that you can have a great life. People don't believe that. People see sometimes that they have hardships in life and they feel like I'm just going to have a bad life. And I have had a really, really good life. I'm not going to say that I haven't gone through anything. I've definitely lost. I've definitely struggled and felt things. But my struggle is different, and I feel like I have a great life, and I feel like I can continue to have a great life because I don't feel like my failures have to be traumatic just to get to where I need to be. I feel like they can still be failures, but I also feel like I can still have a good overall life. And I feel like that's the mentality that people have, because a lot of the stories that we hear now are from nothing to something, and they're the greatest stories. I will listen to them all day, But I don't necessarily think that you have to have a bad life to make something out of your life. You should make something out of your life even if it's going good and steady. Like, you should make something great out of it. I feel that way for sure. And when you said buried, like, it doesn't even have to be a whole bunch, whatever. Everyone grows different. There's different kind of plants that require different kinds of waters, just like succulents, cactuses. Yep. You can't hardly kill those. No. So I'm just so glad you made that analogy, because I've never heard anything like that before. So go ahead, continue. I just wanted to stop on that point, because it's just so important that people get that, and it drives home.
Thank you for adding that and giving the opinion that you don't have to always have a bad life to have the greatest story. It's about how you see it, because we all have hardships. People have hardships where they're actually homeless, and that people have hardships when they have small problems, like the wire isn't working, maybe the bills are not unpaid, maybe your phone isn't working. We all have different types of hardships, but it's not about judging the hardship about which one is worse. It's about seeing for what it is and growing through it. Everybody has a different story, so you just listen to everybody else's story and you add a different aspect to it. Because we're in a world of 8 billion growing people. There's so many people that it's hard to talk to literally everybody and see where different stories come from, because everybody is from different parts of the world, different parts of the country, different parts of life, and it's being about being open-minded and finding somebody you can relate to and grow within with, and that's more or less that I've been working on, like, in my life as a whole, about being buried and growing with people around, because it always feels good to be successful in your life, to maybe not have a hardship or maybe have a hardship in life and still get through it. But it's also most importantly about giving back to the people that have given back to you, and reaching down for the people that have given you everything in your life.
Sure, for sure. But
my first topic that I want to talk about with winning the lottery is growth from within. And growth from within is about being content with yourself and working through maybe internal battles you have with yourself. I mean, as a kid growing up, I always had a lot of things that I questioned about myself, because people would judge me and say things about me that I wasn't necessarily comfortable with, and I kind of felt like some self-deprecation, some hate, internal hatefulness to myself. But I realized that they don't know who I am as a person. I know who I am, and I define who I am as a person, and I make the choice that I make because of that. So I walk the path that I make through, I guess, confidence, and just knowing that I'm focused on myself and getting to, I guess, my goals, and staying focused on, like, what I initially want to accomplish in life, because what they say cannot derail me on the success that I have in my life, because I know what I'm going to do, and I know what I got to do to get to it.
And I think that's so important for people to realize, because I went through similar things as I was younger, because I was always like the bigger kid. Like, I was a fat kid, and then, before I started playing football and all that, I was just a normal kid. I played some outside, but I wasn't, and, like, it's just literally in my genetics to be that way. But all the time being that, and then being one of the few black kids, like, consistently black, I don't think people will understand how real that is. Like, being, whenever you are a minority at public schools, and it's getting better and better as we go. People are progressing. Those older generations with those mindsets are dying out. But just having that, like, closet racism, and then on top of that, you're a fat kid. So you're a fat kid that gets bullied, and he's black. And he gets bullied for being black. And people don't get, like, that's just... It's a lot. And so whenever you finally come to the realization of who you are, and the fact that nothing anyone can say can change who you are, man, like, it's such a relief. And I think I came across that around senior year of high school, whenever I started to love who I was. And I decided that nothing people could really say could really affect me. I didn't have to be anyone else other than myself. And then that's one thing that people that I pride myself on that come in contact with me and said, no matter what, no matter who he's around, he's going to be himself. Because at the end, you and God are all you've got, is how I feel like, permanently. You and God are all you've got. So if you're changing who you are to fit other people, I don't feel like that's not good for you at all.
Because you always worry about somebody's different aspects about who you're going to be. Because you always try to live up to somebody's expectation of you. Why should you have some type of internal belief about somebody's expectation for yourself? If you are who you are, why would you expect something from somebody else to be somebody else? Yeah,
right.
You always reach out to change people, when it's not about changing somebody, it's about adding to their life. And that's one thing that I've worked on, just being content with myself and growing through it. The second topic is weathering the storm when it comes. Like I said, life has hardships. Life will never be easy. No matter who you are, no matter if you're rich, no matter if you're poor, no matter if you're if you are middle class or you're doing very well in life, we all have struggles. Rather that be, like I said, it be something minuscule or something on a larger scale, there will always be struggles. But just know that if you get through the struggle, there's always going to be something greater for you. There's always going to be more for yourself. Because, for example, Bill Gates. Bill Gates is a billionaire, but at one time he was working out of his garage. I guess Microsoft was a prototype. It wasn't really a thing yet. He talked about people. People laughed at him. People made fun of him.
Yeah, they did. Of course they did. I mean, I'm going to have a computer software that's going to be on everybody's operating systems, and then this is running off of Windows right now. So it's like,
just think about it, like that doesn't make any sense. Like, how are you really gonna accomplish something so insurmountable that it's gonna change the face of history? And what he said was, okay, that's cool. Believe what you want to believe, but I'm gonna do it. And he worked through all the kinks. Maybe he failed one time. Maybe he failed twice. Maybe he failed 100 times before he even decided to make, okay, yeah, I now know what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and get to this and officially make my official prototype and unveil it. He did it, and everybody was in disbelief. And then once you prove the people that have disbelieved you wrong, they will always turn to a follower. I believed in you before you even got the success. I knew you would do this. No, you didn't. You didn't care about that 2 or 3 months ago when I was actually in the slums.
Yeah. No, that is a huge deal. And I think that people, as we walk on this journey in life, that is what you will find, is that your biggest disbelievers. And it's awesome that you said that, because I did a podcast with Mahari, the very first episode, and that was something he mentioned, is we were talking about how important haters are and how they have a level of support that you may not even see from people that you genuinely care about. Because if they take that time out of their day to go up and hate you, and like they actually care about you, like they feel so passionately, and passion is like a very different word with so many different meanings, but they feel so passionately that they feel the need to hate and just put down everything you do. And then, just like you're talking about, just converting people into believers, that is so important on the road to success.
Yeah, without a doubt, because life is full of potholes. It's a gravel trail with glass, rocks, and it's a very, very hot trail with oil and gasoline. Everything that will go wrong will go wrong. Mm-hmm. But it's not about what goes wrong. It's about how you react to it when everything goes wrong. Mm-hmm. It's about taking every aspect about the challenge and not backing down from the challenge, but accepting it for what it is and just finding the next opportunity, get the next best thing, and that's what it's all about. And then my next topic or next point in that you win the lottery is developing a plan and staying focused no matter the hardship. Like I said before, struggle is always going to happen, but it's about finding out where you're gonna fit out. I guess where you're gonna find the next aspect of your move. Like life is like a chess game. What is going to be your next move? If something happens, what are you going to do next? It's not about like, oh my gosh, like it happened, I'm going to give up. No, it's about making a plan and finding the next move. If it fails, okay, we got plan B. You got plan B. It fails, you got plan C. You got plan C. Hopefully not. You don't need a plan D.
Hopefully not.
If it happens, I'm saying you just work through the aspects of that and making your plan and always staying positive, always being happy about the situation no matter what the outcome is. So that's one thing that I've come to learn as well, that I feel like most people forget about, is that the hardship, yes, it does come and it will always come, but it's not about necessarily not expecting the hardship, but it's about preparing for the next, preparing to fix yourself, preparing for the growth that comes next. Mm-hmm. So that's what I've learned about my aspects of my life and that I've seen through other people, that I've literally witnessed with my own eyes. All these things that all the things I'm pointing off are not things that I've necessarily witnessed all myself, but I've seen it, and then I've been a believer through that, and then I may have witnessed some of these as well.
I think that's super important, that all of our experiences come together to reveal these truths, and then that we can find ways to connect through those experiences, because that's all it's about, is sharing your experiences. Even if you look in historical texts and things like that, it's all about sharing experiences, so that way we, one, don't make the same mistakes as before, and two, we can kind of learn where we come from and who we are based off of things. So it's definitely important to know like where things come from and where they're rooted in.
Oh, without a doubt, because keep in mind, everything is just a copy of another thing. So, So somebody did this at the very start of the beginning of time, and the next person just copied that, and so on, and that's how we are right now. And after that, my next point is enjoying the process and smiling regardless of the outcome. Like I said, life is going to be full of hardships. The struggles are going to come, but it's a process. It's going to pass. It's like how how farmers have seasons when they have their harvest, when they have their seeding. You may plant like a seed will get buried on the ground, and that is the hardship. And then your harvest is when you work through it and everything else comes back in rotation and you get what you worked for. Like going through college, you will get beaten up all semester. You may work hard on the paper, you may study for all night for that exam, for that final test. You might end up getting a D, may end up getting an F, may end up getting a C, something that you would have never expected. But you're in the middle of the semester. Just because you're failing right now doesn't mean you're going to fail at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So why be so upset about it? It happens, yeah. I'm saying get up, dust yourself off, be happy. You worked, as long as you gave your best effort, there's nothing to be ashamed about. There's nothing to be disappointed about in yourself because you did your best. No matter what, you did your best. And at the end of the day, you can still smile about that. Hard work is definitely noticed by people when you're being a leader and being, I guess, a dedicated person to that aspect of or anything that you're putting your energy into.
Wow. Go ahead for the next one, man. I don't have much to say to that. You said it all. That is amazing right there.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm just trying all the aspects. And the last topic that I have to say, last point I have to say is be you no matter what people say. Because in the day and age we live in, like I said, technological day and age, people will down you for posting a picture with a weird filter. People will down you for being on a social media app too much, or trying to be a YouTuber, or just trying to be who you are as a person, or just sharing your musical taste, or just sharing your culture with other people. People will always try to find an aspect to attack you on, and that is just like, why? Like we're in a world where people die every day. People get killed, people get robbed, people die literally every day, maybe every second. People are sick in the hospital, people have certain diseases that happen. But why not uplift people that are always struggling? Why not be a light for people? Why not try to bring people up with you and want more for somebody else other than yourself? Because like in the Bible, I've learned that Jesus walked with the killers, the rapists, people that were the grimiest of grimy, that everybody hated, but he loved them no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So bring it back to normal time. People do things that they don't talk about that are negative. Maybe people are thieves. Maybe people are killers. Maybe even people are rapists. You may not know who they are, but it's about forgiving them and loving them for the aspect, loving them for the people that they are as a whole. And we all make mistakes. This is life. We're all gonna make mistakes, but don't down somebody for what they do, because we're at the end of the day we all still bleed red. We all are still humans, and we all want to see the finish line and be wealthy, be happy at the end of the life, at the end of our life. Because if we're not, then you feel like as if you wasted your opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And man, I'm glad that you said like we all want to be happy, and then that's whenever you start to draw the line, right? Whenever someone stops wanting to be happy or stops wanting good things for themselves, that's when I feel like you should start being concerned. Oh, yes. Not whenever they're feeling upset or bad things happen to them, but whenever they stop going to get better and they just have accepted it and feel defeated. Like, and we all have probably been to that point, but if it's consistent and it's like your entire life's goal to be miserable, like I think that's such a terrible existence, because like we only have so much time on this earth. And if you think about it, one, we're about to go into a new decade. Mm-hmm. I'm 21. You're what, 20? 19?
2020.
You're 20. Okay. So we're about to go into 2020. And if you think about it, how quick everything has gone by. I was born in 1998. That is 21 years ago. About to be 22. Ooh. And, that's not old by any means, but it's just thinking about the amount of time that has passed. And then whenever I go on to pass on and then think about 100 years later, I'll be an ancestor, right? Yes. Like, oh, look, my family, that was a great-great-grandfather Justin and this and that.
Yes.
And the fact that we don't take advantage of that and realize the fact that we could be gone in a blip and that we are only so much time. And that doesn't make you any less important. You are super important in the time that you're here, but why not maximize it and become as best as you can? That doesn't mean you have to be a global famed celebrity, but why not, connect with other people, share your experiences with other people, help other people in some way, and make an impact on the world. And even whether it's big or small, not everybody can be, I don't even want to give out names, but not everyone can be like a huge celebrity star. But half the time, that's not really about those people. It's about the people in your community, or the people that you grew up that helped you, or that fed you whenever you couldn't eat, or that helped take care of your family, or gave stuff away when they didn't even really have much. Those are the kind of people that sticks around, and they never truly die. Because how I feel about death, there's a spiritual belief I have on it, and then there is my other belief I have on it. And my other belief is that we don't die unless we are forgotten. And I know that's been said before, but it's something that I've held true, because whenever you remember somebody and you continue to remember them and the things that they've done for you, I don't feel like they're dead. They're dead whenever you just have no clue. And sadly, there's people in the world that just die. And I don't want to be one of those people. I don't expect anyone else that listens to this to be one of those people. I don't feel like you should just die. You should just find something in some way to positively impact the world. And you could go into morality, but we all know what's right and wrong at the core of our beings. Whether people believe it or not, you know what's right and wrong at the core of your being.
Without a doubt. Like you said, it's about, we're not going to be people that are going to like change the world and be a super influential figure. But like you said, it's not about changing everybody. It's about changing the people that have given back to you in your community. Because it's like just helping out somebody, the next person, is the most important thing. Because maybe at one time you were struggling, somebody helped you out. Help out that next person, it creates a chain reaction. So you change somebody else's life, who would then change somebody else's life, and that's the most important aspect of it all.
For sure. And
going back over that, my topics, like I said, I'm gonna do a quick recap of it. Was grow from within, weathering the storm, develop a plan, staying focused no matter the hardship, enjoying the process and smiling regardless of the outcome, because being positive in life is the most important outcome. Honestly, if you can smile through pain, you can smile through literally anything. Because I've had big losses in my family that I've struggled with sometimes, but I sit down and realize that, like you said, people are not dead unless they're forgotten. Mm-hmm. So just because they're not physically here does not mean that they're not here spiritually. They're here because if you can remember them, that you can still see their face, you can still imagine hearing their voice, and then you can still remember all the memories that you have with them. They didn't ever leave. You just can't see them on a day-to-day basis, which does hurt. But
yes, it does hurt. But
no matter what, at the end of the day, you still got the memories, and that's the most important thing. And then the last point was be you no matter what people say. Because obviously you're gonna have haters, but make your haters believers, and that's the most important thing. But I have some questions at the very end that people have asked me from social media outlets, and we're going to go ahead and answer these questions from our different aspects of life. And the first question is, what came first, pork or beans? What came first, pork or beans?
Pork. No. We got to go back to Genesis.
Okay, go ahead. Go back. Take us back.
Let's pull up the Bible app.
Yeah.
The only reason I say it is because you got to think of the order, because I believe in God and I'm not ashamed of that. And I believe in the Bible completely and wholly. And you've got to think of the order that he created things, just like the came first, the chicken or the egg, like that thing. So I never figured out the answer to that one, but I think this could be something. And I want to say beans now I think about it, because I feel like if God created the earth first and then animals, beans would have had to have been somewhere in there, unless beans were not something formed until later on by different plants. But let's see if we can get any kind of insight in the book of Genesis to go for it. So he created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and void or waste, empty. Darkness was cast upon the face of the deep. So let's see if we can scroll down. He said, "Let there be light." He got light. Separated light from darkness, created the skies, waters, called the dry land earth. Let the earth sprout vegetations, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that beans came first. Okay. I think that's good enough for me there.
You just answered the question. I was gonna say beans as well, but hey, pork come first no matter what. If it's going to be on the plate, I'm going to eat it first, and I'll take beans and pork.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, the next question that we have here is some viewer asked, I've had a relationship with God for a few months now, and I pray every night but struggle to read the Bible. What should I do?
You can go ahead and answer this one first, since I answered last time.
Okay. Reading the Bible God wants us to read the scripture because He said once you read it again, because people tend to forget what they actually heard, and you don't necessarily learn from the first time reading things. It's like reading a book and then forgetting what you read and have to read it again.
Yep.
Because you don't mentally think about the aspects of like how in depth that passage was. So the Bible is a very big passage of many stories, and it's hard to read it all. And especially if you're younger in age, maybe like us, like 20, 21, you're in college, you're handling your business, you're trying to establish yourself. It's hard to find time to read the Bible. And I'm not saying making time isn't possible, but let's say you go to work every day, you go to school, you have a sport, or you just do extracurricular activities. It's just hard to find the time to do that. But do it whenever you can. Don't stress it too much. If you can read more, that's awesome. But if you can't, pray more. God never said that He won't love you just because you don't read His book. He just said it will help you get closer to Him and build your faith.
Right. And I think people forget, right? They think that if you do this wrong thing or that wrong thing, like you're automatically condemned. And this isn't under the topic of religion, this podcast on the Spreaker platform. But hey, we're throwing religion in here because this is about everything. Yes. Self-improvement. And I don't even believe Christianity for me is a religion. It's more of a lifestyle. But people feel like they can't do certain things and they won't be accepted in the kingdom of heaven. And really, like, the reason why a lot of these, like, if God's going to forgive you, which He will, for everything that if you only ask Him, then technically there's always a way through Him to make it into heaven. But that also means that the ways to get closer to Him is by following those. So He wants you to have a great life here as well as in heaven, not have to suffer because of the consequences of sin and things like that here. So not to say that you are sinning by not reading your Bible, but I would definitely say continue to explore it. And even find like 10, 15 minutes a day. And if not, look up a verse, something to start off small and then really dig deeper into it and then pick a topic to study. That's what gets me back into it. It's not necessarily the daily, nightly readings, even though I should be doing them. Yes, I'm going to fully recognize I'm wrong in that. But what really will get me into that book is historical studies or a topic that I'm struggling with or something I'm going through now, and then I see how other people have dealt with it back then or how things were for them back then, and then try to equate it to modern day. And then that helps me read because it's a love letter, it's a history book, all kinds of things, and more, it's a weapon against the forces of evil. So that is my take on reading your Bible. Just pick a few minutes out of each day, and then eventually you're just going to want to keep reading. Like, it's how I feel about it. Because
it becomes a consistent habit. Because once you have a habit, it's either a good habit or a bad habit. But
that's right.
The Bible will definitely be a good one to open your mind to see where, I guess, how God would want you to live and how Jesus lived Himself. Next question we have is, as a young African American, have you ever experienced racism? How did you deal with it? What's your advice to other people of color who are going through the same issues? And those are the questions.
Yes, and yes.
yes. All yes.
And we live in Kentucky. Ooh. Don't come looking for us, but
no.
we live in Kentucky at the moment. I was born and raised here, and man, it's just a different kind of world. I've literally had people come to my place of work, and they've said some offhand racist things because of the area they're in, and that's not making excuses for them, but I realize that it's a totally different world, and it takes a lot for someone to see someone of a different color and then just decide that because of that they are inferior or there is something wrong with them. So I say that to say to you, as a young black man, uplift other black people. Don't tear other black people down. Uplift other black people. Keep your head up, because as much as racism is trying to die out, it's still going to be around. You're probably in Kentucky or Virginia, which I'm sure Virginia has a lot more black people than Kentucky. Yeah. But again, it's just something you're going to have to wear and experience. Just like, we talked about Jesus. Jesus was persecuted. And so just know that you are blessed because of your persecution. And even if you don't believe in God, just know that that struggle that you are going through, like, that is something that will reward you in the end, and you can overcome the odds. But don't let that stop you. Like, continue to stay motivated and work even harder. I feel like that is an excuse to work even harder, because then you can upset those people who want to see you fail. So that's my take on racism. Well, for now, for that question, you go ahead and have at it.
Okay, well, I have experienced racism, and it has been in Virginia. But for a quick story, when I first got to Campbellsville, I drove to Lexington the first time I drove to Lexington, Kentucky, because you have to go through Lebanon. And once you go through Lebanon, you have to go to the Bluegrass Parkway and go up to Lexington, which is going north. Off the exit to go into to the Bluegrass Parkway from Lebanon, there is a marathon, and I went in there to get gas on the way to Lexington. But when I went in there, there was no black people in there, and I went in line to get gas, and there was this heavier set, like white American. He walked behind me, and this white guy was like, "Hey, are you from here?" I was like, "No, I'm not from here. I'm from Virginia." He said, "Well, buddy, you might as well go ahead and get out of here before something happens to you." So, as a black man, I was like, "You ain't gotta tell me. I'm gonna go ahead and get it." I got in my car and I quickly left. I stopped at the next gas station on the way on the Bluegrass Parkway, so I wasn't no quick rush to I guess run out of gas. But I was not gonna stay there and maybe get attacked
and risk that. And it's ridiculous the fact that people think that way, and it's the fact that people are just stupid. And I just hate to say that, and I hate to be negative about it, but it's just in the real life, there are some people that are just stupid, and they still feel like they're still living under the old time guys, that just because somebody was born a certain color, something that they didn't choose, that they're just inferior or there's something wrong with them. And the fact that you even felt like you had to leave that gas station is ridiculous. But it's just the area we live in, and it's just what the our section of the world has come to. If you go other places, which is crazy, they don't really have as much racism towards people of color. Like, it's a lot better in other places from what I'm understood. I'm sure they have their own issues and everything, but still, at the same time, the fact that you felt the need that you had to leave a gas station for your own safety after somebody says something like that to you, that's definitely an issue that that just needs to be fixed, man. Just stop being terrible people to other people. Like, it's a pretty simple thing, like, care about other human beings, and then things will be pretty okay. But no, we just have to find ways. And like, at first I used to think it was a survival skill, right? Because discrimination, not racial discrimination, but the root of the word discrimination is using prior information to separate things.
Yes.
So not like actually, segregating or discriminating, but using that prior information to, decide what is what. And so I apologize. People have turned that into something negative, and I don't think it has to be. I think that you can just judge people based more off of character than the color of their skin. That's just me, and I don't even really feel like passing judgment on people at all, but if you are, at least do it on who they are, not what they look like or things they didn't choose. Like, that's a big thing. I didn't choose to be black. I wouldn't choose to be any other way. But I didn't go through a character select menu. I think that's what a lot of people think they're racist. They think we just went through a character select menu, like, how dare you decide to be black? How dare he decide to be black? No, we didn't choose this, but we're proud of it, and we just want to have a great life just like you.
Pretty much. And next thing to ask was how did you deal with it? Like I said, I left the gas station, but I've been called racial slurs before, not just in Kentucky, but different parts of the world or different parts of the country, meant to say. And I accept it. People are going to be the way they are, but it's not, like I said, you don't want to backlash and look dumb. Like Martin Luther King Jr. said, it's not about how you react. It's not about how you it's not about how you get attacked, but it's about how you react. Because he got beaten up, he got stuff got thrown at him, he got obviously brutally smashed around, but he never picked up his hand to fight back. Like, you have more character when you are quiet. Yes, because you look dumb. Like, the person looks dumb when he's bullying me when I did nothing to do to him. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to get equal rights for everybody else. I'm just trying to be the man that I would like to be. Try to spread love to everybody, not just African American people, but obviously with the black community, and make us look better. Because 140 years ago, we were all slaves, and now that we're educated, we're in the classrooms, we got books, and are doing things for ourselves. That for people that are a different ethnicity or mostly white, people that are in the old mindset of being racist, they're like, oh no, they're smart now. We can't let them take our places, take our jobs, take our work, take our women. Are you serious? Really? Are you really going to judge me off the aspect of what I look like, but not who I am? Because a thief can be any type of color. A killer can be any type of color. It doesn't matter what he or she looks like. It's about saying the character and the heart and who they are as a person. And the next part they asked was, I guess the advice I give to the next person that's of African American color or of any ethnicity that is gets discriminated against, hey, just accept it. And the best payback is your success. If you're succeeding in life, you're doing well, and they're not doing well, then like you won the battle. There's nothing else to prove. I guess you could try to give them $100 bills, and I guess you could try to like flaunt your money in front of them, or just do something that makes them feel bad about themselves. But I'm not going to support the negative aspect of that. But it's about saying do what's right for yourself and focusing on what you need to get done. Because if you're a predator in life, predators look at the goal, look at what they got to what they got to do to get to what they need to do to survive and get to the next aspect of their life. And pray, look around for what's coming next. Oh, is he or she gonna do this, or she gonna do that? Like, no, you're not worried about what they're doing. Worry about what you got to do in life. And I'm saying accept it. I'm sorry to hear about that. Just stay focused on what the aspect of, I guess, focus on what the main goal of your life is to grow. Success is always the best payback, and that's what I've learned.
For sure. Success is the greatest payback. We have any more questions?
The more questions we got on there, we got 2 more. I'll try to make them real quick. 2 or 3 more. I'm trying to make them real quick. What are some healthy relationship tips? I guess communication. Communication is key, always. Because the most fought thing over in the world is just over. The most fought thing in the world is over miscommunications. If you get in an argument with somebody, you're gonna fight. People kill people over miscommunications, and relationships end over miscommunications. It's about sitting down with that person and loving that person no matter what, and communicating to them how you feel, and them having to understand who you are and where you come from. And I'm saying accepting that for what it is, and growing through it, growing with you, not against you. That's one that I've learned.
Yeah, my input on that is what works for you isn't going to work for everyone else.
There we go.
So figure out what works for you, and it's going to take some falling on your face, and it's going to take some very, very hard lessons to learn. But again, what works for you is not what's going to work for the next guy. So don't feel so inclined to just see what is out there and what people are doing and then just try to mimic it or replicate it. Like, live your own life, have your own relationship, and just most of all, be happy. That's the best thing I can tell you to do. A lot easier said than done. But to try and give concrete evidence is required of a professional, and I don't have my credentials to be a relationship counselor professional, and I don't get paid to do this, so that's all I'm going to give you for now.
Yeah, hey, pretty much. And next is, how do you feel about having kids? Right now, not at all. Not going to have kids. If you can't financially support kids and give them life that they deserve, ain't no point in having them. But in the future, maybe 10 years, 4 or 5 years from now, definitely would like to have some kids. Like to have 3, maybe 2 or 3. If 4 comes in my life, then that's a blessing as well. But kids are definitely the next generation, so you want to make sure that they're well taken care of and have a way better life than you may have had yourself. And that's what I've seen, and that's what I want to give to my next generation of family and members and kids as well.
Mm-hmm. I feel the same way. Legacy is so important, and not from a self-centered thing, but like my culture, my heritage, all of that. It inspires me. It continues to just like intrigue me. So having a child, like it definitely keeps continuing. That continues the family, and that is so important to me. And it's not for everyone. Not everyone is meant to have kids. Not everyone wants to have children. And if that's not you, that's up to you. Yeah. That's not downing or going for you, against you. It's just something that I truly believe in. The fact that family should be continued, and that legacy is just so important. Like your heritage, your culture is so important. So you should just try to bring a little bit of that to each generation as it continues to move. I think that is just utterly important.
You're right, because like your legacy, like your kids are the most important thing. Because your money, just because you're rich, it doesn't mean that it's important, and they won't die with you when you go to heaven. Your kids are the next generation, and they're the most important thing. So influencing the youth and making sure that they're right for their next generation is the most important thing. So how about giving back in that aspect of giving back to them and making your future greater and their future greater. And the last question I'm going to ask is a deep one. Is somebody said, I'm a political science major student, and I would like to hear your opinion on abortion. And abortion is a very controversial topic, and I'm not a female, so I don't have any right to say anything about abortions. Females can do whatever they want with their bodies, by all means. I support you regardless of your decision. But I guess my personal topic on abortion is that, like, people, when you develop, I guess, a child, that person is a human being at that stage. They have a brain, they're breathing, they're living off of you. That person is a human being, and it's not very right to take them out of the world. Maybe if it's an aspect that you got pregnant because of a certain situation, maybe like a rape or like some type of crazy situation that would never happen to most people, then maybe you don't want to keep the child, give it up for adoption. There's many ways to solve the problem of not taking care of that child, because it is a sad experience to give away to have a child in adoption, I guess adoption care, or get killed, have an abortion. But it's just, you have to realize that the aspects of, like, you're killing somebody else, like you're killing somebody that didn't have a choice to speak up for themselves. They're just being born, so it's hard to take that right away from them. So I guess females, anybody out there, I'm not trying to offend nobody. By all means, do what you're gonna do. I'm gonna love you for whatever your decision is. But that's just my opinion on the topic.
All right. So on a lighter note, any other closing thoughts, ideas you want to leave with everyone before we get off of here? We're running into the 40-ish minute, 40 and a half mark. Anything you want to leave them with? Any way to follow you and keep up with you, Malik?
Well, I have a social media. I have an Instagram, which is Mahlic, MAHLIC _ Sallah, SALLAH. That is my Instagram. You got me on Facebook if you like to. It's MAHLIC Malik, last name Sallah. I mean, everybody knows how to use Facebook. That's a common social media.
Yes.
And yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate the time. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on your podcast. I'm glad I can share my experiences in my life. I guess my life changing ideas with people, and that's one thing that I've I guess kind of prided myself on, trying to change people's lives with my words and my actions as well. So hopefully I give everybody a different aspect of, I guess, a different view of myself and I guess my ideas and stuff like that. But I just want to say my last leaving I guess words is stay positive no matter what. Smile through the pain. Sometimes it's going to hurt, but the rain's gonna stop, and there's gonna be a rainbow at the very end. So that's my last closing aspects.
Man, what a wonderful, wonderful way to leave us here at the Emperor's Throne Podcast, the third edition of the Emperor's Throne Podcast. I just want to thank Malik for taking time out of his night. He just left straight from the gym, came here, he showered up, of course, came in here and just spread a lot of wisdom. He's even younger than me, only by a little bit, but he's still a very, very wise guy. And again, like I say, I half jokingly say, I love talking to people on here with a brain. Yes, I'm aware everyone has a brain, but there's levels to this. There's degrees of having a brain. And I always love picking other people's brains and learning something new. And today, Malik, I learned something new. And surely somebody who listens to this whole thing, or even portions of it, learned something new. So for Malik Sallah, I'm Justin Davis, also known as the Emperor. I've been here. You guys have been great. You guys have been awesome. Stay safe, man. Stay blessed and stay royal. We're out of here.